You're listening to Indiana Originals Radio, leading local living.
I'm going back to Indiana now.
It is the first day, 93 WIBC. It is presented by our friends at B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Drains. They do it all. They're the professionals in the big black trucks, and we love them. Call them anytime for some help or check them out on their website, which is bigbblacktrucks.com. I'm Terri Stacy, along with Mel McMahon.
Good morning, Terri.
Morning, Mel. I like to say morning, Mel. It's just fun. Everybody, let's all do it together. And morning, Mel.
Oh, you're sweet.
Listen, Mel McMahon, IndianaOriginals.com. We had an awesome week last weekend when we were all out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But May is now over, and we can kind of start to focus on things that aren't all race-related. And Mel's brought us another great Indiana Original.
I have. And if you're not familiar with Indiana Originals, I invite you to visit the website, IndianaOriginals.com. We are helping those that want to support local businesses do it faster and easier, and helping our business members find the resources that they need to be successful. And what we do with this show is help them tell their story and help you learn about what they do. And I'm so excited to welcome Kevin Butterfield, co-founder of Brain Forest Centers, to the show. Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, ladies. Mel, how are you?
Doing so well. Thank you so much for joining us. For people that aren't familiar with Brain Forest Centers, tell us what you do there.
Well, we're an alternative, I guess you could say, to help plug the gap for mental health problems, whether it be the learning disabilities or post-concussion stuff, or PTSD, depression, migraines, the opioid crisis. I mean, we're trying to do what we can with technology that is so advanced now that you can pinpoint problems in the brain where you can address them better.
Fascinating. How do you do that? What makes your process, your system different than maybe just a pill?
We do, well, the pill will, go in there, and we're not anti-pill or anti-counseling or anything like that, but there's a time where if there's certain areas of the brain that you can actually pinpoint, we just address those areas and leave the rest of the brain alone, because the rest of the brain doesn't need anything else. But the medicine kind of like it covers the whole brain. It does stuff, changes the whole brain, right? Mm-hmm. So we just, this technology's been around since the 60s. NASA uses it. Top-tier athletes use it. Anybody that wants to have a clearer focus and a better brain, use it. There's not many people around here that do it, and I don't know why. Maybe because this is like pharma country, I guess you could say. But we do. It's not shock therapy. It is all deep brain EEG neuro-feedback, where we hook the person's brain up to our monitors so we can see what the brain is doing in real time. We can see what areas are struggling and what areas are, or maybe areas that are working too much, and we kind of regulate those to give them some solid peak performance training. It's done with sound, but they'll have headphones on, sensors on the head, and as soon as a certain area you're looking at is in the range where it should be, you'll hear a noise. A beep, they will. And after a while, their brain figures out that it's a pattern, and it wants to stay there because it's not working so hard. It can have more clear focus, can concentrate better. And migraines usually go away while they're sitting there. No matter how bad they are, no matter how many years they've had it, they tend to go away because there's overactivity in certain areas of the brain that are causing all this.
Wow. What's the average age of your clients?
We've had it from as low as 3, and people with cognitive decline, use it or lose it. They come in here to, they're in their 80s or 90s. I mean, so we see all different areas of all age groups.
And so it's not painful. It's not invasive.
No,
it's
not
just
at all.
an alternative.
Yeah.
It takes about 20 to 40 sessions to get the timing reset in your brain. And your brain wants to stay there. I mean, so it's not like something you always got to keep doing. Again, there's no electricity going in the brain. It's not shock therapy. So once the brain learns where it functions the best level, it stays there. Whatever set the timing off in the brain, or you started to have these problems, it could have been an accident. It could have been a slip and fall. It could have been a bunch of different things. I mean, people come in here, and we'll listen to your story if you want to tell it. I mean, what got you here, but we don't really have to start a treatment option. We don't have to know all the story. We can just reset the timing of the brain.
Wow. So, Kevin, what do you want us to know about the brain? I know often I hear, they're just hardwired that way. But is that really true?
No. Something sets off the brain the brain is like a fuse box to your house. And if you go, let's say you go in your garage and you hit your fuse box with a sledgehammer, all the lights flicker on the inside. The traditional route is to run in the front door and trying to change the light bulbs, hoping it'll change so they don't flicker anymore. We go to the fuse box and we reset the timing of the brain in the areas that are struggling. Again, there's enough normative database brains that you can compare to, so you know what the normal brain looks like, what it functions like. Someone that does not have PTSD, depression, or anxiety, we know what those normal brains look like, and we can get that brain of the person we see back to that normal level.
What about memory? And I'm thinking specifically of Alzheimer's patients, or those which is the age is getting younger and younger.
Too. I mean, there's a lot of studies out there now that show that it is very effective for that.
Wow.
And if you ask somebody, we have people, in their 80s that come in here, and they, if you ask them how they feel after their sessions, they'll say they don't feel any better. But if you ask the family, it's like day and night. Like they remember what they walked in a room for. They didn't lose their keys. It's all a whole lot better because we're enhancing those areas of the brain that are struggling.
Wow.
I would love to talk to some of your clients to hear more about how different they are. Although, as you said, it's not always the client that recognizes a difference. It's oftentimes the family.
Yeah, and again, another huge thing, Marion, the community up in Marion, the foundation, gave us some funding for a pilot study up there to help their addiction problem, because they know there's an addiction gate in the brain that you can see that's open. And again, what causes it to be open, I don't know. Concussion, hit to the head, maybe something you took that was neurotoxic that you couldn't process out of your body. But anyway, the gate is open, and you have to feed some kind of addictive thing through that gate to feel normal every day. But we can see that gate, and it's right around the PTSD, stress, and anxiety part deep in the brain. And if you can address that and regulate the frequencies in that part of the brain, the gate will shut, so they don't tend to have these addictions. We see all kinds of addictions, you name it, we've seen it. But they're clean and sober today because we addressed that part of the brain.
Wow. Kevin, what got you into this?
Well, my dad was a brain surgeon, so I've been, around brains my whole life, and it's always fascinated me. And there's got to be, I always thought there had to be a different way, another way to get through to this, plug this gap. I mean, what we've been doing in the past, like talk about it or medicate it, again, there's time and place for everything. If all that stuff is working, then all the stats and the numbers should be trending downward, but they're actually going upward. It's actually like getting worse. So why? What? So we want to jump in there and fill that gap. I mean, there's got to be another solution. There's got to be something that's, FDA approved, research backed, whatever, that does work, that people don't know much about. And that's where I did my digging, and this is what I found out.
Kevin Butterfield, really interesting. This is such interesting stuff that I want you to come back very soon, because I still have a ton of questions, including to talk about the cost, if you can get an insurance to pay for this, and just just learn more about what you're doing, because it sounds, and also address some skepticism among people that might say, wait a minute, hold on, really? Why haven't we heard more about this? So we do want you.
That's what we love the most is skeptics in the waiting room. We do, but if people come in here knowing that this stuff works, they've done their research, that's great.
Yeah.
That's easier. But I want people to come in here that are skeptics.
Well,
and they can see the difference once we get the brain map done.
Yeah.
So this is what yours looks like, and this is why it looks like that.
Oh,
that's what a normal looks like.
Incredible.
Fascinating.
It really is.
You can learn more at brainforestcenters.com, and of course, we also have them listed at indianaoriginals.com. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. The news is next, 93 WIBC.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Originals Radio. Check us out at 93 WIBC Sunday mornings at 10:45.
I'm going back to Indiana.
And visit IndianaOriginals.com to find local businesses near you. Indiana Originals, leading local living.